While the NHL and the NHLPA continue to be at loggerheads over a new collective bargaining agreement, word over the weekend is that we could soon see union issues emerge in junior hockey. The story suggests a union is being formed amongst CHL players to help grab a share of the profits being earned by junior hockey operators. And one key area the proposed union would focus on would be the revenues made by Hockey Canada through the labor supplied by Canada's elite junior players. Friday Night Hockey's Jeff Marek is always tapped into everything that's happening with junior hockey. So, Jeff,
yes.
What are you hearing? Is there anything to this?
Well, there's something to it because we've seen press releases and we've heard people speaking on behalf of this alleged CHL Players Association. But the curious thing, Hazel, about this story is outside of that group, no one seems to know a whole lot. I spoke to CHL President David Branch today. He hasn't been contacted, spoke with general managers, players as well, and interestingly enough, agents as well who represent key players in either the OHL, the Quebec League, or the Western Hockey League, and nobody knows anything about it. One general manager that I talked to Monday afternoon said, I have all of my kids calling me asking what this is all about, but I don't have any answers. No one seems to know anything about this other than the party that's trying to unionize all these junior hockey players.
Now, there has been a suggestion that this would-be union wants a piece of the Hockey Canada pie and the millions of dollars in revenue that Hockey Canada reaps when it hosts the World Junior Tournament, using the labor of its players at the centerpiece here.
Right, and they do, Hockey Canada does reap, the financial windfall that is the U20, the Under-20, or as we call it, the World Junior Hockey Tournament. That is a cash bonanza for Hockey Canada, and yes, it is on the backs of, you could argue, junior hockey players who aren't compensated for that. However, a lot of that money gets channeled into grassroots projects, helps other tournaments. A lot of tournaments that Hockey Canada is involved in and that Hockey Canada runs that don't see a dime as well. Is a lot of money being made by Hockey Canada? Yes. Are players being compensated properly or fairly, some would argue? Probably not. But at that level, let's not forget, at that level of a hockey player's career, you're more concerned with development as opposed to payday. Payday comes when you turn pro. That's kind of the mentality. So they would like to get their hands, I'm sure, on some of that Hockey Canada money, but it's not as if Hockey Canada is stuffing in their jeans and laughing all the way to the bank. That money does get funneled back through to hockey players across the country.
So how likely does this union actually happen?
I'm skeptical. A lot of the people that I speak to are skeptical. General managers are skeptical, and even players are skeptical as well. Because the one thing that you see with the union, let's blue sky this, Hazel, and say that the CHL Players Association does go forward. They get the 60%, and they unionize the CHL. Now, the one caveat for a union is withholding service. I can't think of one agent or parent or even player that would want to withhold his services during a developmental time in his career in order to get a couple of dollars from a video game company that's using his likeness, a card company using his likeness, or a couple of bucks in the World Hockey Championships, the U20 as we call it. I can't really see it happening.
Okay, I can't let you go without asking you about the Windsor Spitfire appeal after the OHL, of course, fined the club $400,000 and first and second round picks for what the league says were recruiting violations. What's up there?
Well, I spoke with David Branch Monday afternoon. David said that the process now is the Windsor Spitfires have officially applied for an appeal. The next step is for the Ontario Hockey League to work with the Windsor Spitfires to put together the process of how that appeal will work. No timeline on that right now. Also, David Branch told me, or wouldn't tell me rather, wouldn't comment, wouldn't go on record if there are other incidents that are being investigated as well.
All right. Interesting to see how that story develops and this would-be union. I told you he knew it all. Jeff Marek, thank you.
Curious times, Hazel. Thanks.